Moving deeply into the now. 1. Solving mental problems requires presence, not intellect. You don't need to get lost in the complexities of the mind to find full consciousness. In fact, the mind's problems can't be solved with more thinking. Simply grasping the basic dysfunction, our ingrained habit of identifying with the mind, is enough. This identification creates a false sense of self, the ego, which replaces your true self rooted in being. This ego, feeling inherently vulnerable, exists in a constant state of fear and desire. But by recognizing this root of unconsciousness, you can step back and become present, observing the mind without getting entangled in its drama. The mind is a valuable tool, but dysfunction arises when you mistake it for your true self, allowing the ego to take control. 2. Time's delusion traps you in the mind. Disidentifying from the mind might seem daunting, but the key lies in ending the delusion of time. Time and mind are inseparable. Identifying with your mind traps you in the illusion of time, compelling you to live almost exclusively through memories and anticipation, preventing you from fully acknowledging the present moment. The past provides a sense of identity, and the future promises fulfillment, but both are ultimately illusions. True value lies in the now, not in time. The now is the only thing that truly exists, and it holds the power to take you beyond the confines of the mind. The past and future have no inherent reality. They borrow their existence from the now. Grasping this truth shifts your consciousness from the mind to being, making everything feel vibrantly alive. 3. The now unlocks the spiritual dimension. Spiritual masters across traditions have emphasized the now as the key to unlocking the spiritual dimension, yet it remains a secret hidden in plain sight. Zen, for instance, focuses on utter presence in the now, dissolving problems and suffering. Sufism, too, values the present moment above all else. Spiritual teachers throughout the ages have consistently denounced the past and future as obstacles to experiencing the divine. 4. Being transforms perception and expands knowing. Freedom from time allows you to perceive the world without the mind's filter, making you directly aware of the essence of all things. This brings a different kind of knowing, one that doesn't dissect or diminish life's sacredness, but rather holds it in love and reverence. The mind only knows facts and figures, while being knows directly and intuitively. While mind knowledge is certainly useful in navigating daily life, when it dominates, it can harm our relationships and our connection to nature, potentially leading to the destruction of life itself. 5. Past and future steal attention from now. Break free from the habit of denying and resisting the present moment. Practice withdrawing your attention from the past and future whenever they are not needed. Observe your mind's tendency to escape the now, noticing how it constantly imagines the future as either better or worse than the present. This self-observation increases your presence, and when you observe your mind, you're no longer trapped within it. Be the watcher of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. 6. Observation frees timeless dimensions energy. Intense presence is particularly crucial in emotionally charged situations. Identifying with the mind only fuels the fire, while observation withdraws energy from the drama, transforming it into presence. Once you've tasted the power of presence, you can consciously choose to step out of time whenever it's not required. This, in turn, enhances your mind's sharpness and focus when you do need it. 7. Psychological time means past takes over. Use clock time for practical matters, but remember to return to present moment awareness to avoid falling into the trap of psychological time. Psychological time is essentially identification with the past and compulsive projection into the future. Clock time, on the other hand, includes learning from the past and setting goals for the future. However, even within the realm of practical living, the present moment remains essential. Enlightened individuals are deeply anchored in the now, while remaining peripherally aware of time. 8. False identity is cling to past mistakes. Be vigilant not to let clock time morph into psychological time. If you learn from a past mistake and move on, you're using clock time effectively. However, dwelling on it with self-criticism creates psychological time, reinforcing a false sense of identity. Similarly, pursuing a goal with excessive focus can diminish the now, turning clock time into psychological time. 9. Present moment means focus on reality. The present moment is all you ever truly have. There is never a time when your life is not this moment. This simple truth can cut through the complexities created by the mind. 10. Mental disease thrives in psychological time. Psychological time is a kind of mental disease, evident in ideologies that prioritize a future good at the expense of the present, justifying harmful means to achieve that end. This belief in a future heaven can create a present hell, as history has tragically shown us time and again. Are you always striving to get somewhere else, with fulfillment always seemingly just out of reach? The mind creates an obsession with the future as a way to escape an unsatisfactory present. 11. Dissolving the past requires presence. Real transformation hinges on being present enough to dissolve the past by accessing the power of the now. The quality of your consciousness in this moment shapes your future. Negativity stems from accumulated psychological time and denial of the present. Unease and fear arise from an excessive focus on the future, while guilt and resentment come from dwelling too much on the past. A consciousness free of negativity holds the promise of true liberation. The time-bound mind is the only real problem. 12. Distinguish your life from the situation. You cannot be unhappy and fully present in the now. Your life situation exists in psychological time, while your life is happening now. Find the life that flows beneath the surface of your life situation by narrowing your focus to this very moment. Engage your senses fully, be aware of the space around you, and feel the life energy within. 13. Act now. Don't create mind problems. When you focus on the now, problems naturally begin to dissolve. Problems are mind-made and need time to survive. A situation is either dealt with or accepted. The mind loves problems because they give you a sense of identity. A problem really means you're dwelling on a situation without taking action, making it part of your self-definition. 14. Creating no pain accesses the now. Choose to create no more pain for yourself or others, and you access the power of the now. In emergency situations, the mind often stops, and you become intensely present, allowing something deeper and more powerful to take over. Problems are ultimately illusions created by a false sense of self. 15. The now is the source of all action. Much of what people do is motivated by fear, which is inextricably linked to a focus on the future. In the now, there is no fear. Act out of present moment awareness, not from past conditioning. Sometimes, the most effective action is to do nothing at all. 16. Human consciousness transformation is happening. The time-bound consciousness is deeply ingrained in us, but we are part of a profound transformation in collective consciousness, an awakening from the dream of matter and separation. This process is not guaranteed, but your conscious participation is essential. It represents a quantum leap in consciousness and our only true chance for survival. 17. Doing is joyful, easy, and light. To determine if you've been taken over by psychological time, ask yourself if there is joy, ease, and lightness in what you're doing. If not, time is likely obscuring the present moment. Focus on how you do things, giving your full attention to the present moment and accepting what is. Honoring the present dissolves unhappiness. 18. Being in action creates joy. Give your attention to the action itself, not to the outcome. When compulsive striving ceases, the joy of being flows into everything you do. With your attention anchored in the now, you feel a sense of presence and peace that doesn't depend on future outcomes. You've found the life that exists beneath the surface of your life situation. 19. No need to become when you already are. In the absence of psychological time, your sense of self arises from being, eliminating the need to become anything other than what you already are. You are already complete. 20. Fear disappears when being is complete. Pursue external goals without expecting them to save you or complete you. There is a playful energy behind everything you do, free from the need to become. Neither your happiness nor your sense of self depends on outcomes, freeing you from fear. You don't demand that external things make you happy, and you don't suffer when they don't. You are aware of the eternal that lies beneath the surface of all forms, knowing that nothing real can be threatened. You have already succeeded.